Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing our annual tier ranking video. So we are going to be tier ranking all of the books that I read in 2025. I have my steep tea here with me today, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So let's talk about the description for my tier ranking video. The first one here is it's an all-time favorite. This just literally means it's an all-time favorite now. It's on my list of all-time favorite books. Loved it. It would be just a smidge lower than an all-time favorite book. I think it's just the feeling of not being an all-time favorite. So Loved It is very close to being an all-time favorite, but there's just a feeling that it isn't an all-time favorite read. Really enjoyed it. So this is something I usually say in a book. So these are like a 4-star book. It was cute. So literally the tone of that. So it wasn't something I really love, but it was cute. Kind of feeling, if that makes sense. We have Mid. This is coming back again. So this is just an okay book. Not for me. So books that I didn't really particularly enjoy, and books that I have DNF'd. I do want to mention that these are going to be soft DNFs, so not a hard DNF. So let's start with the tier ranking. I have a total of 32 books here, so without further ado, let's jump into it. So for the books that I have talked a lot about, I am just going to give it a place in this tier ranking list and kind of go on to the next book, because I don't want this video to be too long and sound like a broken record. The first book, we are starting with a banger. So it is Sunrise on the Reaping. So for Sunrise on the Reaping, this is hard. I'm really debating between putting it in Loved It or really enjoyed it. It's really neck to neck here. Because in Sunrise on the Reaping, if I'm thinking of it as a whole series, it is Loved It. However, if I am basing it off of that book alone, I think I'm gonna be putting it in really enjoyed it. I don't know. I'm going to base it off of the series, because if I were to base it on its own alone, I don't think anyone would just read Sunrise on the Reaping alone anyways, and just read Sunrise on the Reaping and not any of the other books. So I'm going to see it as a series. So for Sunrise on the Reaping, I am going to give it a Loved It. The next book, another Hunger Games series, The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. Ooh. I gave this one a 3.5 stars or 3.75 stars. I didn't really care for Coriolanus Snow's character, and this book was very character driven, but it wasn't a cute read. So I think I think I'm going to put it at I wouldn't call it mid either. But the more I think about it, the book was pretty good. So I think I really enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna put that as really enjoyed it, because although I gave it a 3.75 stars, it was not a cute read. It was quite heavy and dark. And although I didn't really care for his character, I did like the structure of the book compared to Sunrise on the Reaping, because it doesn't follow that formulaic structure of the Hunger Games series. Yeah, I think I'm good with putting it as really enjoyed it. The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. This is the third book in the Housemaid series. I'm going to put that as mid. It was an okay read. I absolutely loved the first book, and then from there it just went downhill for me. I think mid would be good. I felt like we didn't really need the story to continue further. I thought the first book was good enough, and the rest of the series, I felt like it was dragging on. So I think mid was a good place there. The Hunger Games. I am going to include rereads on this list here because it's a book I read in 2025. And for the Hunger Games, I have to put it at, it's an all-time favorite. This is the book that got me into reading again. It was back in, I think, high school that I read this when it first kind of came out. And this book made me cry at that one scene, Rue scene. That's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. I feel like majority of you might know because either you have already read the books or you have watched the movie. It was devastating. But when I reread this book this year, I didn't cry at all because I think I just knew it was coming. I think in my head, I remember it being more, not dramatic, but more devastating than when I read it. And I felt like we were following Katniss and Rue for such a long time that what happened to Rue was devastating at the time. But when I was rereading it this time, it didn't feel that long. That was a little fun realization for me here. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Well, I talked about this book enough, so we are going to put it at loved it because it is an unexpected favorite. 1,000 Acres by Jane Smiley. Okay, so this was easy. I did not finish this book. However, it is going to be a soft DNF because I do really want to go back to the story. The writing was pretty easy to follow. It is a retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear. So if you have read that piece of work, then maybe that might interest you, but I didn't read it. I do want to reread it. It just was not at the right time when I picked it up. That's the first DNF on this list. Unbelievable by Sarah Shepard. I don't remember if this is the third or fourth book. I don't believe it's the second book. It's one of the third or fourth book out of the huge series of the Pretty Little Liars series. This is hard because I feel like I'm blending all the other books together, so I don't remember what this was about. So I'm going to quickly check. This is the fourth book after looking into this, and now after reading the synopsis, I do remember what happened. So, oh, did I really enjoy this one? It was cute. I don't know if that fits there either. It's not mid. You know what? I'm gonna put it at, it was cute. Even though it's not a cute read, but it was cute because it's not at really enjoyed it. It's just a notch below. And I don't have that listing here. I clearly did not put this tier ranking description too well this time around, but that's okay. We'll put it as it was cute, even though there was a lot to unpack here too. So the Pretty Little Liars series, so much stuff happened in there. So it was a fun read. Oh, I should have put that down. So it was cute can also be it was a fun read. Here we go. Let's keep it like that. The next book is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I know on Goodreads I rated this a 5-star. And I kind of remember what it was about. It's one of those books where I gave it a 5 stars but don't really quite remember what the story was about. Oh, no, it's coming back to me now. So Funny Story is about our female main character's fiance and our main male character's fiance. They fall in love with each other and they break their respective engagement to the main characters in our story. So our female main character and our main male character pretend to fake date because they both get invited to their ex-fiance's wedding. And I kind of like that story. It was a pretty fun read. So is it an all-time favorite? I don't believe so, but I did love it. So I'm going to put this under loved it. It didn't quite meet an all-time favorite because for the romance between our main characters, I wasn't too interested in it, but just reading the plot of the story was interesting. Because of that, I felt like it's not an all-time favorite, but I really did love the book. So that's Funny Story by Emily Henry. The next one is another book in the Hunger Games series. It is Catching Fire. So this is the second book in the Hunger Games original trilogy. It kind of follows the structure of the Hunger Games where there's a reaping and the Hunger Games and the training itself, and then what happens after the Hunger Games. I did like meeting all the characters. I'm going to put it at loved it because now that I think about it, I do really enjoy that book. Oh, should I put it really enjoyed it because of what I just said right now? No, I loved it. You know what? I think that's good. And I think I rated this a 5-star, so I think that fits well here, but it's not an all-time favorite. So that's that. Oh, should I put it as an all-time favorite? Because I really did enjoy the Hunger Games series. I'm going to put it as it's an all-time favorite. Now, should I put the Hunger Games series in it too? Oh, if I'm looking at it as like a series, we're moving these. We're changing everything here. This is chaotic. Again, if we're looking at the Hunger Games as a series, it's an all-time favorite because first of all, I have the books. I purchased the books. But secondly, I can see myself rereading the series again. So maybe that can also qualify as being an all-time favorite. Scratch what I did before. We are putting the Hunger Games series in. It's an all-time favorite. But if we were going to rank it as individual books, I would put Sunrise on the Reaping under really enjoyed it. Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes would be really enjoyed it as well, because if I had a rating that was it was great but could be better, that would fall under there. Catching Fire, I would put it as loved it because it was really good. Hunger Games, it was just, I loved it. I mean, it's an all-time favorite. I feel like I'm so contradicting right now. Let's move on. The next book we have is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This one, I would say, did I really enjoy it? I'm trying to think back to the story. So we follow our female main character, and she is going to interview this once famous, back in the olden days, famous, I guess, tabloid princess. And she decides to finally tell her story, why she has been off the radar for such a long time. And our main male character also gets invited to do this interview. And they're competing against one another to see who gets to interview this once famous tabloid princess that fell off the radar. After talking about the synopsis, I did really enjoy it. So let's put that under really enjoyed it. Now, the reason why I wouldn't have put it at loved it, and I was struggling just a bit on how I'm going. You know what? No, I'm going to put it at it was cute. I don't remember the name of the famous character that our two main characters are interviewing. I do remember that I started getting bored whenever she kind of recalls her past, because I felt like it was dragging on a bit too long, and I felt like the structure of the book was there was no surprise element in the book. It felt like something I have read before, even though I don't think I have read something like this before, but nothing that kind of screams out to me that this is something that I really enjoyed. So I think It Was Cute is a good place for this book. The next one is Flawless by Sarah Shepard, and this is one of the books in the Pretty Little Liars series. I think this is the second book, and I think I'm going to put that as it was cute, even though, again, there's so much things that happened in this book, in this series. There's just event after event, catastrophic stuff happening. I felt like I couldn't really breathe in the book because it was told in a multiple POV following our 4 main characters in this series. We just kept going through all these kind of hurdles that each of these 4 main characters are going through. I felt like there's just so much action that was going on, I guess you can call it. So it was cute, but not in the sense that it was cute, like the story and the plot is cute. And it was a cute, fun, like it's a fun read. So I think Flawless was a fun read. The next one is Perfect, and I think this is the 3rd book in the series, and okay, now I'm thinking if I should put it at loved it or really enjoyed it, because there was a huge cliffhanger that happened in this book. Even though there was cliffhangers in each of the books in the series, this one in particular had a huge one, and it was so good. I'm gonna put it as really enjoyed it. If it wasn't for that cliffhanger, I don't really remember what else happened in the book, but it did lead up to that cliffhanger, so really enjoyed it. It's a good fit for this book. The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. Again, The Housemaid was the best out of the 3. I was interested in reading the second book, but it did not really hit the way that I wanted it to. So I'm going to put that as not for me. And I know this is an unpopular opinion where people enjoy the second book over the third book more. I think I enjoyed the third book over the second because I felt like the second kind of still followed the same structure as the first book. There was no surprise element in the book, and the plot twist wasn't too plot twisty for me. I think that one would be not for me. But for The Housemaid, I rated that a 5-star. I really enjoyed that one. And if I were to rank that in here, I would put it under Loved It. So that's actually quite a big gap between the books in the series. Next is Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard. And this one goes to Loved It because this is just first in the series. This really sets up the whole story. So we follow 5 main girls, but technically 4 main girls, and they are going into high school. The leader of the group of friends, she disappears one day. The 4 other girls, they each have a secret that the leader knows about. By the way, the leader of the group of friends, her name is Allie, and she disappears one night. Because of Allie's disappearance, somehow the 4 friends kind of parted ways, and then it jumps to high school, and they each have a secret that none of them know except for Allie. And each of them get a cryptic text message from A, blackmailing them to reveal their respective secrets. This was really good. I really loved this book. And as you can see in this ranking, we have It Was Cute, we have really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to continue in the series. And these were all through audiobook, except for the first book. So I wonder if it was the audiobook that made me not enjoy it as much, and if I should pick up the physical copy again. So moving forward in the series, I'm going to read the physical copy to see if that kind of alters my ranking in this series. Next, we have a Mockingjay, and to no surprise, that goes to it's an all-time favorite. And if I were to look at this book as an individual book, it automatically goes into it's an all-time favorite. It was a very solid ending to the Hunger Games original trilogy, and Mockingjay is my favorite book in the whole series. Next, we have Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I absolutely loved the first book, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I would even consider that probably an all-time favorite, but the second book didn't hit the same way for me, which is a very unpopular opinion. I feel that majority of the people enjoy Mate more so than Bride. So I'm thinking maybe I have to do a reread of the 2 books and see if that changes my rating, because there is a 1-year gap between the 2 books. So I didn't get to read Mate right after Bride. So I'm thinking for now, just based on this year, we are going to put it at It Was Cute. The next is The Garlic and the Witch by Brie Paulson, and this is a graphic novel. And I loved this book. It was so good. It was such a cozy read, very autumnal, and the illustrations was so good. This is the second book to The Garlic and the Vampire. I think it's just a 2-book graphic novel series. So I won't say what The Garlic and the Witch is about because it is the second to the 2-part graphic novel series. So it just follows the adventure of our main character, Garlic, and her friends. Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. If you have seen my top 10 books of 2025, then you would know where this lands. It's an all-time favorite. Loved this duology. I cannot stop thinking about it. I cannot stop recommending it. It's an all-time favorite. Easy to say. Oh, hey, now we are at The Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson, the first to the graphic novel. And this one is Loved It. I think I did enjoy the first one more so than the second one, but both is such a nice comfort read. It's just the first in the series, and the premise of the book was more interesting to me than the second. We have a few characters in the story. Our main character is the Garlic, and she has a friend, Celery. And she also has this kindly witch, Agnes. And these vegetables work for this witch. And one day, there's a bloodthirsty vampire that moves into their land, but it's not really close to their garden. But let's say it's all the way in the mountains. The vegetables all vote garlic to confront the bloodthirsty vampire, as they fear that the vampire is going to take over their land. So that's what we are following, and it is such a cute comfort autumnal read. So I do recommend this. I don't know if it's an all-time favorite. I don't think I have talked about this graphic novel over and over and over again. So just because it's missing that little feeling to be an all-time favorite, however, it's very close to being an all-time favorite. So that's The Garlic and the Vampire. The next is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. And I'm going to put it under, it was cute. I do not like reading romance novels between a teacher and a student. And in this case, the professor, even though it's not her professor, but it's a professor in her department and a PhD student. That gives, no. But surprisingly, I did not DNF this book. I really enjoyed how Ali Hazelwood describes the struggles of a PhD student in a humorous way. I really appreciate that she made the struggles of a PhD student more humorous, so it wasn't kind of triggering for me. The setting and the writing helped me finish the book. However, in terms of the romance, that kind of shifted the whole rating to what I've rated it. Did I really enjoy it? Actually, maybe I did really enjoy it, but because this book is a STEM romance, I have to put it at it was cute, because I just really did not care for the romance. I was not interested in the romance at all. I did not care if they got together or not. So I think It Was Cute is a good fit for this book. A Prayer for the Crown Shy by Becky Chambers. Oh, I don't know if I should put it as an all-time favorite or loved it. I have to do a reread for this one to see if it's going to be an all-time favorite. But for now, definitely automatic loved it. Such a great duology, The Monk and Robot. And it's also on my top 10 reads of 2025. So it's not an all-time favorite because it's just that feeling. So I'm satisfied with putting it as loved it for the time being. The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I am putting that as DNF. This is a book that I did DNF in 2025. Not the right time for me to pick up this book. I was slowly recovering from a reading slump, I think, or going into one. It's one of those. Regardless, this is a new genre to me. The writing was a bit more flowery, I think, in my opinion. So I felt like I have to use more brain power, and so just not the right time for me to read it. I do want to try this book, so that's why it's a soft DNF, but it is a DNF in 2025. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. To no surprise, it's also an all-time favorite. I did talk about this book way too much on this channel, so I'm going to leave it at that. Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is a novella to the Powerless series. This is the novella in the Powerless series, and it's the second book that you would read after Powerless. I'm going to put it as mid. It's interesting to say because this book is the book that did make me cry. Even though I knew what was going to happen, because this follows the best friend of our female main character and her side of the story. So you kind of know what happens to her in this novella. However, it still made me cry. It was sad. I did like this character though. However, that's the extent to it. Although it did make me cry, that's why I put it as mid, because it made me feel something. But if it didn't make me cry, it would have been under not for me, because I don't think the series is for me. Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I'll put it as, it was cute. So this is an accidental pregnancy trope, and our characters is in their 30s. So that's cool. And I think I'm at that age where I don't think I enjoy reading young adult or even teenage books anymore, except for Pretty Little Liars. That's a different story because that's just an iconic TV series too. But reading about young adults in a contemporary romance setting, I don't think I'm too interested in that anymore. I'm past that age. So it's refreshing to read something that's around my age band, so that's great. But the writing, I felt like, didn't reflect the age of the group that we are following. That's why I'm putting it as it was cute. I didn't mind the accidental pregnancy trope. It is actually the first time I've ever read an accidental pregnancy trope. And I did like the story. I don't think I really rooted for the romance again. The plot of the story, the setting was cute. So I think this is actually, it was cute. Not a fun read. It was cute. Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. Oh, I don't even know if I really enjoyed it. I don't remember what happened in it. I'm going to put it as it was cute for the time being. The Magnolia Parks universe is something that I have not finished. I didn't binge this by no means. And this book took me 2 months to finish, and Magnolia Parks also took me so long to finish too. So I think I'm gonna keep it as it was cute. It was a fun read, not something that I really enjoyed. And so I don't know if I want to continue reading this series. So I'm just going to leave it at that. The next one is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This book was not for me, unfortunately. I think I talked about this on this channel too, but just a quick one-sentence rundown. It is a romantasy and it's very heavy in the romance, but the thing that deterred me is the dialogue between our main characters, or just the characters in the story. I felt like it wasn't too natural and there was some awkward dialogue in there. And it was also marketed, I believe, as The Hunger Games meets Red Queen. And if you are going to compare this to The Hunger Games, I felt like The Trials was barely there. I didn't read The Red Queen, so I don't know if that one is more in the romance. Because of that, I'm going to put it as it's not for me, and I don't think I'm going to continue this series. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Oh, okay, wait, I was going to put it as it's an all-time favorite, but I think I'm going to put it as loved it because I really enjoyed the first book. It was such a magical, whimsical read. I'm not going to talk about this one as well because I think I talked about this book a lot, but I am currently reading the second book. And so as a series itself, I don't think it's going to be an all-time favorite. So that's why I'm going to put Caraval as loved it because I did enjoy that singular book a lot. Not really enjoy. I really loved that singular book a lot. And it's also on my top 10 reads of 2025. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I'm going to put it as loved it as well. It's also on my top 10 reads of 2025, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here. I did really enjoy reading the friendship between our female main character and the octopus. I loved the octopus, by the way. I'm going to keep it as loved it. Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. Also on my top 10 reads of 2025. And to be honest, the best novella I have ever read. Oh, but I don't know if it's going to be an all-time favorite because I think I need to read it again. It's really close though, because it is the best novella that I have read. So I'm going to put it as loved it for now, but very close to it's an all-time favorite. I have to reread it to see if it's going to be an all-time favorite. It is the best novella I have read in a series, and I want to see if I could just read it as a standalone, and if so, maybe that might push it to it's an all-time favorite. Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. This is the second to The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, and The House in the Cerulean Sea is an all-time favorite read for me, but I felt like we didn't really need the second book. I enjoyed it. Oh, okay, there we go. Oh wait, did I really enjoy it, or it was cute? The story was cute, so I did enjoy that, but I don't know if it's going to be really enjoyed. So I'm going to put it as it was cute for now. The last book is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, and it's also on my top 10 reads of 2025. I am going to put that one under really enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk about this book because this is in my top 10 reads of 2025 and also a reading vlog in my 2025 book miss. I think putting it under really enjoyed it is a fitting place for this book. And that is all the books that I have read in 2025 and my tier ranking list. Thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what you have read in 2025 and if you have read any of these books in 2025. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.